Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting Minecraft video. I'm Tyken and today I'm going to be showing off my original save file. The first one I made way back before I started doing an actual Let's Play series, and this is how I got my start, so I kind of wanted to take you all through memory lane on both how Minecraft used to work and how I enjoyed it when I first started. So this is my spawn point. This is before beds were introduced and before I knew how to edit a save file to change your spawn point wherever you wanted. So back in the old day, if you died and your base was 2,000 blocks that way, you had to get walking and hope you got home before either your stuff despawned or a zombie killed you. So this is my little respawn fortress. It has everything you need, plenty of glass to make sure everything is safe around you, crafting table, even a furnace built in the foundation, just in case. Over there is nothing special, just an old quarry that I marked off so I wouldn't forget where it was. Just go straight down. You can also see the horrible water generation from way back when. Things are dramatically different and much better, in my opinion. Over here you can see all the trees that glitched out when I converted the file. I guess the original save file just saved all the leaves as like a single leaf block, and when you update it's like, well, which one did you want, and it just picked. So yeah, you have really patchworky trees. So this is my first mining quarry. I found a naturally occurring hole that just went straight down, and I built kind of a mining base to kind of get in and protect myself and store all my treasures that I got from this hole. Nothing special, it just goes down into a natural cave system. This place used to be full of chests before I removed everything. It had a work table and a furnace, so I pretty much had everything I needed here, including an infinite water source. And then you can just easily walk right out here, and then up here, and this was my, essentially my minecart station. Way back when, things were a lot more complicated. You actually needed like a station to get around. And this thing was very interesting because you could load carts in. You can still stack carts, but this had like a cart loading magazine. And whenever you wanted one, it would just insert one and you'd go on your way. This thing down here was a cart booster. And how this worked was very interesting and strange. So essentially, this was before boosters, like way before boosters. And minecart furnaces were very slow, and they honestly just didn't do a great job. Someone noticed that if two carts were pressed against each other, they would like stick to each other and push each other very far distances, and push you at max speed and distance. It was a very interesting glitch, but it's kind of how we lived. So you had like one cart going back and forth here with another one that it was kind of stuck to, and then when you stepped on this, it would reroute the cart, it would come up and push you along to your destination. Now this is very ugly, and I kind of wish I just dug a hole to my base, but that was a lot of time and resources back before like enchantments or anything were a thing, and also before I even had diamond tools, so I just did the easiest thing possible. So this was basically a two-way section. What this would do is, just to ensure that I had enough speed, it would take another minecart. You can kind of see it still works a little bit. Oh, I guess maybe it doesn't. But essentially minecarts would stick next to each other and push each other, and essentially this one would push me up the ramp. It would give me max speed again, and then the downward speed would carry me all the way through to my destination. And essentially how this works is minecarts would easily jump connected carts like that, depending on the direction, or the connected tracks, and then when you were coming back, it would just reroute you the other direction, and you would have another booster. Kind of wonky and not the most sophisticated thing in the world, but it worked very well for its time. As a frame of reference, by the way, I started playing before the original Nether update. Before the original bland Nether was added to the game, that's when I started playing. Also, this was before I knew how to make additional worlds, like in creative mode and such. Actually, I think it was before creative mode, so you had to hack in everything. So I just did all of my tutorials in this world, and this is remnants of one of them. Basically how to put water next to lava, so you can see them both like pressed against each other. Oops. And I messed it up entirely by clicking the wrong block. Oh well. So this is what I originally built. I found a huge plateau that I wanted to build on, and this is what I did. I originally made a minecart system which led into the underside of everything. This was supposed to be my massive underground minecart station. I did not ever decorate it. I kept trying to come up with ideas for it, and I could never come up with something. So it's all just mechanical and not that impressive to look at, so we'll just get back to the surface. But I did like the idea of having my carts come in and out of a waterfall, almost like the Batmobile, like way back when. I'm almost certain I could do something even cooler now that pistons have been added to the game, so that would be very interesting to do, to actually have a minecart literally fly out of the water. So that's an interesting idea. Actually, that gives me another idea, because I know boats can go into minecarts now, and I wonder if they'll float. Yeah, that's a cool idea for another time. I'll test that out another time. So, the first thing I built was this greenhouse, and it's kind of a homage to Harvest Moon. Back in the day, you could really only plant crops effectively in 3x3 squares, because you couldn't actually get to the middle one all that well, so you would actually leave a space open. But you would generally plant crops in a 3x3 grid, and this is kind of what it looked like. I also wasn't sure how much water they actually needed, so I just had a massive irrigation duct under these slabs all the way around, so pretty much every single block except for the middle one is touching water. I also added torches almost directly above all of the wheat, so they would have constant light all day, every day, and grow continuously. I also put a bunch of flowers along the edges. This is before I had the idea to let grass grow on top of them to make it look nicer, but it still looks pretty cool when you're not looking directly at it. Also, I like to just add a ladder over here so I could crawl on top and just look out upon my world. I also put a little fence around the edges, not that it mattered too much because we were on a plateau, but I also added a tree line. It kind of looks a little unnatural, but it's kind of nice, and it makes you feel very safe. The fence alone looks really nice, and then kind of the trees act as bushes to kind of block the outside view, and it just makes you feel like you're in a cozy little outside gated area. Nothing can hurt you. Eventually, there was this other little plateau up here, and I thought this is the perfect spot to make a tower. Lookout Point Alpha. Not very original with the names, but you get the idea. I added kind of like a little lookout right here too. Not anything too impressive, but you know, you could see everything from up here, and then up here as well. Oops. So originally you only needed ladders in between every other ladder. It still kind of works, and then you would just jump on top of the top ladder and go up top. So you can see up here just my entire world, far from the eye. That's my tree farm down there. I never really thought it out very well. 3x3 little blocks, and then you would just chop them and go all the way up and then burn down the rest. Not very efficient, honestly, and I eventually made a much better tree farm down below. Over there is my snow globe tutorial. Again, this is way back before I knew how to make another world or spawn in materials, so all of that was done by hand, no cheats or anything. I'll show that off in a second. Over here, though, this reminded me, so a long time ago, back in whatever version I was in, I think this was like 2007? So, very long time ago. You could change your computer's time and date, and Minecraft would struggle to speed up because it thinks it's so far behind. So it would essentially give you like super mining speed. And I carved out a huge, well, I wouldn't say huge, but a decent amount of cobblestone that I needed at the time by using the speed glitch. It was pretty fast, probably not as fast as creative or an enchanted pick these days, but still pretty quick. Down here you had this very simple, very tiny little cobblestone path coming down. And this is just my reed farm, nothing special, just like a little storage room right here. Over here I really like this design. So it just has water naturally flowing right here. I uncovered this one so you could see that it actually came through. And then I put slabs everywhere else, because like if you break that, they'd sometimes fall in the water, and that was a huge pain in the butt. So it's just easier to cover them up with half slabs. And then I had like a little irrigation duct, so it actually looked like water was flowing through and going somewhere, as opposed to just water flowing and not pooling anywhere. Granted, this this doesn't go anywhere either, but you get the idea. It's meant to look like it was emptying out somewhere. This was a quarry I did because I think way back when quarries were actually a good method. I would never recommend doing this at all anymore. Honestly, it probably wasn't even a good design back then, but you basically just dug a hole straight down. I think I actually did this with the intent of making this into a mob farm, and it did become a mob farm, but you can see this is very old, very outdated. This would not work very well in modern Minecraft. It does still work, though, in case you're interested. Just basically a huge spawning platform, and you would hope that monsters would eventually wander off into these little water and fall down into your processing area, which I'll show off. Let's just go in here. So you would just kind of drop down all the way here, and you would have some kind of water, or ideally, as you were falling, you would lean into the stairs, and then you would just slow your fall. That was the best way of going down great distances. This is the water duct, so whenever items would drop, they would flow through here and down to your standing point, and you would just AFK like right about here, and all the items would drop into your inventory, and you have plenty of chests to throw whatever you want into. And then you have a little lava trash can to throw whatever you don't want in. And then let me show you the processing room, just to show you how mob farms used to look. They're not too different, but they're still pretty different. You had water flowing, essentially pushing them into one of the 8 lava blades. And it was just tall enough that the top of the monster would go through, or at least crawl up the ladders and into the lava. They would catch on fire, die, and drop their items, which would flow into this duct and eventually go down to where you're standing. Definitely not the most efficient thing, especially since we have pistons and all now. It was even less efficient because imagine trying to stop mob spawning, like filling caves and such, so they would stop spawning around your spawner as well. It was, you just had to settle for less than efficient. Over here, this is the little snow globe area. I did like a little tutorial on how to build circles and domes in Minecraft to make them look, actually dome-ish. I built a actual house inside of a snow globe, and you can tell this is old because, the water, or the stairs aren't waterlogged. And then the inside is actually livable because it's all blocked off. The door keeps out all the water, and you even have a nice little fire in here. Granted, the chimney doesn't have an opening, so you would just die of fumes eventually. But yeah, you have the little, the best thing you had to flower pots is just, this is before trapdoors, so you could only put a sign there and flowers on top. So, and then bookshelves, nothing too fancy, but still a nice little house you could live in. Still a cool idea. Maybe if you want to build an underwater house, you could just build a dome and make it a snow globe. Other than that, I don't think there's anything too much over here. I will show off the inside of my base, but there's a few other pieces that I want to show off first, since it's a lot easier to get back than out. So this is where one of my minecarts in my base lead to. Over here, I made like a little beach house, and you can see I did like a little volleyball court over here. I made a sand castle entirely out of sand, except it collapsed. So basically torches were holding up everything, and I think I might have did this by mistake, but essentially everything, it was a full structure made out of just sand, not sandstone. Actually, I think this might have been before sandstone, so it was the best thing you could do. Plus, it doesn't look bad. It looks like an actual sandcastle, just full size. I had my little dock over there, and you just charter a little boat all the way over here. And I found this beautiful natural cove, and I hung a waterfall curtain over the top of it. And the inside, you just park your little boat right here, and there's a big windowed, pretty much front view, like no supports or anything. You just look out and see your beautiful little beach house with a waterfall curtain. Of course, I never finished this. I think I eventually started doing my Let's Play world because of all the support I was getting from all of my fans and viewers, so I want to actually start something new instead of just continuing here, which I'm glad I did. It became a very iconic Let's Play world, I feel. Okay, back to the actual base, the main thing you actually want to see. And You all are probably thinking, man, this looks nothing like your style, man. It's like, yeah, that was before a lot of blocks were added, a lot of mechanical things were added, and honestly, back before I was that good of a builder. Boop. This had stairs. I got rid of them, so they actually could come down here. So this is my, I guess, the entrance to my underground lair. The thing I dislike most is the very, very low ceilings. It's just, if I did this again, I would at least make them 3 tall, maybe like 3.5. But back in the day, that's all you really needed or cared about, just enough to walk through. You have your little bathroom over here. You had a toilet. This is the closest thing you could get to a toilet. Just some slabs and a lever, and it's the best you could do. Over here was the bathtub. This is back again before slabs could get waterlogged, but this is still the best because you couldn't really tell there was a little pocket of air right there, and it put you at just the right level that it actually made you feel like you're in the water. This is a technique you can still see in my current Let's Play worlds, so you can kind of see what I was doing back then too. Of course, this is before you could do much with showers as well, and the best you could do is just walk into water and drown yourself for a couple of seconds. And then this is my living room, the panic room. Nothing special, and again, just like a lot of cobblestone and bookshelves, everything flat. Like not like if I looked at this now, I'd be like, wow, this is just very uninspired and not very interesting. Over here is my bedroom, which I was really happy about. I feel like the ceilings could be at least one higher for a lot of reasons. I made some lava waterfall on the sides of the room just to have lighting, and it's just a really great feature. This is the bed. The best you could do, again, you put like a little border with signs, and then I wanted to add some kind of pillow, so I did slabs. Definitely not comfortable pillows, but you get the idea. And then this is the Donkey Kong painting in the original vanilla texture pack, so it looked like you were playing a game on the TV. The coolest thing about the living room was there's actually a lever hidden behind the fireplace right there that led into my panic room. One of my first tutorials was how to build this. Completely obsidian line, nothing could get to you here as soon as you flip the switch. And I believe the switch was an AND switch with a inverter right there. So basically turns that redstone torch behind it off. And essentially both levers have to be, well, I guess this one has to be off and the other one has to be on in order for the door to open. So no one on the outside can open this door. I wish there were more blast-proof doors because I'm pretty sure TNT can still explode iron, but it's good enough. Once you're in the center of the room, nothing's going to really hurt you directly. And of course, behind the lava place, you have food and weapons, anything you might need in the apocalypse. And again, this was really old because you could not stack food. I think... I don't recall. I want to say that was before steaks, too, like before cows were at it. I might be wrong, but I remember pork chops were the easiest thing to get at least. Bread. You even have a crafting table and a furnace behind there. And you have a little record player to play all kinds of music for you while you're waiting on the apocalypse. And then over here, we have my storage room. Nothing too fancy, but it actually has higher ceilings, which is good and also kind of necessary considering how I did my chests. Again, you can see how none of the food really stacked, and in fact, one of the best methods while exploring was to bring some wheat with you in a crafting table, and then just craft all the food that you want with you. So, just to kind of bring you guys back on how that used to work. This looks like redstone under there. Oh, that was before. So, way back when, you couldn't really put pressure plates next to doors and make them open up at the same time. So you'd put them one back and then redstone underneath to essentially trigger it and open them both. So I was wondering what that redstone was for, but yes, doors were very wonky then. This is my furnace area for processing all my fuels and ores, as well as my mass storage for like dirt and stone, pretty much anything I had a lot of that I didn't actively need, or just building materials. Over here is my cactus farm. I put a door here just because I didn't want to accidentally collect cactus every time I walked by. It's a very stereotypical, like very first time cactus farm. just cactus would grow up, since there's a block around it, pop off into the water and drop down. So literally not very complicated in the slightest. Over here is another minecart station, and this is the one that leads to that house through the underwater channel. It's not too impressive, it's just kind of a hallway. It has the flowing lava under glass, but that's about it. I don't want to try to hobble my way through it. This is my ender portal room. So back a long time ago, before when they were introducing the Nether update, they'd mentioned all sorts of scary things, like when you build your Nether portal, monsters can come through and kill you. Torches would eventually go out, and you would have to relight them with flint and steel. All kinds of interesting stuff. I think they were going to introduce lanterns or something that would replace torches, so you wouldn't have to keep relighting them. So yeah, very interesting mechanics that never actually, at least didn't come into the game the way they suggested. You can see I didn't even actually build a portal because I started a new save file before they actually added it, or actually maybe shortly after. But I also surrounded my room with lava for two reasons, is to light the room, and if anything came in and exploded, it would break the glass and lava would flow through and kill everything, hopefully. And if not, you had the big iron doors to protect you. Over here, nothing special, just the more advanced tree farm that I told you about. Surrounded predominantly by glass, you just get just the wood, you wouldn't have to worry too much about being in the way of anything. The main problem was you didn't get too many saplings back from harvesting these trees, so it was a bit inefficient. Could definitely do a better job these days, especially with pistons and such, because you can just push everything away. Let's go back down to the lower levels now. We're almost done. So to the left here was an underground park, because I figured if you're this low underground, you definitely need something to make it feel like home. So I put some waterfalls behind glass. I put a fountain in the middle. I put a large circular lava sun in the ceiling. And unfortunately, this was before bone meal and grass. Well, not before bone meal, but before like tall grass was a thing. So this area looks kind of boring, but honestly not bad given its age. Over here was another sub-storage unit. I made it look more like a kitchen. You can see you can use some really old techniques from way back when. Was this? No, not before stairs. It just looks better that way, I thought at the time. So you had your furnaces, you had chests for storage, you had a crafting table in the middle if you needed it, and of course, I don't know, this wasn't an infinite water source, it was just to look like a sink. Really, really basic. Again, I didn't have too many blocks to work with back in the day. I'd planned on expanding this further, by the way, but it never got very far, so this is unfortunately going to be the end shortly after. This is my throne room. I wanted something like cool, like I'm the king of dwarves kind of look to it. So again, plenty of cobblestone because that's everyone's favorite first building block for whatever reason. I made long tables for the council to sit at with lava centered in the middle. Although if I were to do this again, I'd probably have it be flowing lava maybe from the ceiling into the center and flow out to the sides. That would look really cool. Actually, let's test out how that would look. Just to show you guys how I planned on seeing this. About right there, about right here, have some lava flowing down from the ceiling. Maybe from both sides and have it meet in the middle, but essentially like the lava source and it flows out to the edges. Just have an active pool of lava burning away your papers at any given time. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I think maybe on the edges instead would look better, meeting in the middle. Yeah, twice the amount of lava. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. But again, still not bad, given the age and before I could honestly build all that well. Oops. I used pictures on the back of slabs to kind of give it a higher back, and the sides to give the chairs like arms. I put a little border around the table to kind of give it, again, this was before like upside down stairs, so this is kind of really the best table you could make is with full blocks. And then the throne, which is an obsidian throne with a glassed off lava behind it. Some wool to put your feet on. I think this was before dyed wool too. This is just regular white wool and there's nothing else you could do with it. I think I did actually eventually go to the Nether because this is all Netherrack. So I think I started before the Nether update and eventually went in. And then I was testing out, like I never finished this room. I was testing out what looked cooler, if I had some like lava behind water, or lava behind glass, or like some kind of pattern behind water with torches. And nothing ever looked good, so I never really finished it. But yeah, that's about it for this tour. I hope you all enjoyed it. I was so happy when I found this very, very old save file. The save file, by the way, will be in the description below if you want to pop in and look at all the old stuff. And I hope to see you guys soon.